The small apartment smelled like dust and rain. And Nguyet sat on the floor surrounded by boxes. Her phone buzzed with messages she didn't open. Birthdays, family dinners, company parties. They kept celebrating as if she never existed. She used to wait for their calls. Now she turned off the sound. At night, she replayed old memories. Her mother brushing her hair before school. Her father's hand on her shoulder at graduation. All of it felt like someone else's life. She walked to a cafe near the station. Her brother's face was on the newspaper headline. A new branch opening, a perfect smile. She stared at it until the letters blurred. He got everything she once dreamed of. And she was a ghost walking beside his name. The waitress placed coffee on her table. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. And Nguyet smiled. "I will be." But her hands trembled. That night, she baked a cake for her mother. It was her birthday tomorrow. She thought maybe this time would be different. Maybe someone would remember. She walked to the old house early in the morning. Through the window, she saw them laughing. Balloons, flowers, and the cake her brother bought. No one noticed her shadow by the gate. Her chest felt heavy, but her face was calm. She placed her cake by the door and turned away. Halfway down the street, she heard her mother's voice. "Who left this here? It's melting." Her footsteps quickened. The frosting smeared across her fingers like blood. That night, she deleted every family photo from her phone. The next day, her brother called for the first time in months. He needed her signature for a document. She hesitated, but agreed to meet. They met in a crowded cafe. He smiled too much, spoke too fast. She signed without reading, trusting out of habit. Later, when she checked the paper, her name was gone. The apartment deed, transferred to his company. Her chest burned with disbelief. She called her father, but he didn't answer. She called her mother, who whispered, "It's for the family, darling. Don't make it hard." That night, she didn't sleep. She looked at her reflection in the window. A stranger stared back, quiet, tired, forgotten. For the first time, she felt anger, not pain. The next morning, she wrote a note to herself. "You are not theirs anymore." She pinned it above her desk. She sold her gold bracelet to pay rent. She applied for new jobs under a new name. She stopped answering calls from home. Days became weeks, and silence became peace. But deep inside, a question kept echoing. How could love turn into betrayal so easily? And how long could she keep pretending it didn't hurt? And Nguyet closed her eyes and whispered, "One day, they will know who I've become." And the city outside kept raining, washing her clean. Weeks passed in quiet rhythm. And Nguyet worked double shifts and saved every receipt. Each morning, she walked past the old bank her father once owned. Each time she promised herself never to step inside again. But one rainy afternoon, she did. She needed copies of her old mortgage papers. The clerk looked confused, typing her name into the system. After a pause, he frowned. "The owner's name changed 6 months ago," he said. And Nguyet felt her throat tighten. She asked to see the record. There it was, her brother's signature and her fake one beneath it. The document was clear, perfect, professional. Only it wasn't hers. She took a photo quietly and thanked the clerk. Outside, the rain blurred her vision. The betrayal finally had proof. That night, she opened her old laptop. Her fingers trembled as she searched every saved file. Emails from her father, scanned letters, old contracts. In one folder named Family, she found a recording. It was her mother's voice. "You'll get her to sign, right? She never reads anything." A man laughed. It was her father. The world went silent around her. She replayed it again and again, until her tears stopped. This wasn't just business. It was theft wearing a parent's smile. And Nguyet began collecting everything: copies, photos, bank slips. Each page felt like a knife pulled from her back. At dawn, she printed them all. Stacks of white paper filled her small table. Truth had wait now. That evening, she went to her grandmother's house. The old woman's eyes widened when she saw the papers. I knew something was wrong, she whispered. She opened a wooden drawer and handed Nguyet a letter. Her grandmother's trembling handwriting confirmed the truth. The house had been a gift to Nguyet alone. Her parents forged the transfer. Her brother kept the money. Nguyet sat there in silence. No tears, no anger, only a cold clarity. Her grandmother touched her hand. They took from you because you stayed silent. Nguyet nodded slowly. Then I won't be silent anymore. She bought a small voice recorder and hid it in her purse. Over the next few weeks, she visited her parents often. She listened, observed, asked careful questions. Her father bragged about deals. Her brother laughed about family sacrifices. And her mother said softly, it was for his future. Every word was recorded. Every smile became evidence. Late one night, she played them all back. Voices filled her room like ghosts. It didn't sound like family anymore. It sounded like a crime scene. Nguyet printed one more photo, the family portrait from years ago. She drew a thin red line across it. Next time, she whispered, they will listen. The city lights flickered outside her window. Somewhere deep inside, fear turned into purpose. And for the first time, she felt the weight of power in her own hands. The dinner table looked perfect that night. Silver plates, white candles, soft music humming in the background. Nguyet sat quietly at the end, unseen as always. Her parents laughed about a new business deal. Her brother talked loudly, his voice filling every space. No one asked about her job or her life. No one even looked her way. She smiled faintly and reached into her bag. Her fingers touched the small black recorder. Her heart pounded, but her voice stayed calm. Can I play something? She asked. Her father waved his hand, uninterested. Make it quick, he said, sipping wine. She pressed the button. Her mother's voice filled the room. You'll get her to sign, right? She never reads anything. The laughter that followed froze everyone in place. Her father's hand trembled around the glass. Her brother's face turned pale. Nguyet looked up slowly. This is what family sounds like, she said. Her mother tried to stand. Turn it off, she demanded, her voice shaking. But Nguyet didn't. She let the whole recording play. Each lie, each plan, each cold word. When it ended, silence swallowed the room. No one moved. The candles flickered. Her father finally spoke. You don't understand business, Nguyet. She laughed softly. You don't understand love. Her brother slammed his fist on the table. You're destroying us. She met his eyes and whispered, you did that yourself. She opened her folder and spread the documents across the table. Bank records, transfer forms, the forged signature. Every truth laid bare under the golden light. Her mother covered her face. Her father stood, but his voice faltered. What do you want from us? Nguyet looked around the table that once felt like home. I want nothing, she said quietly. I just came to return what you gave me. She slid the original house deed across to him. It was the only honest thing left. Then she stood up. Her chair scraped against the marble floor, echoing sharply. No one stopped her. No one dared. At the door, her mother whispered, You'll regret this. Nguyet turned, eyes steady. I already have, for 25 years. She walked out into the night. Behind her, voices rose, arguing, blaming, breaking. But she didn't look back. Outside, the air was cold, the sky wide and quiet. She stood on the steps, breathing hard. Tears came, but they felt clean. Her phone buzzed. A message from her grandmother. Are you free now? Nguyet typed back, Yes, finally. She dropped the recorder into her bag, still warm from truth. For the first time, she didn't feel small. The world hadn't changed, but she had. And somewhere behind her, the perfect family began to fall apart, one lie at a time. Morning came with headlines instead of sunlight. The city woke to whispers about fraud and forged deeds. Nguyet's family name was printed in black across every paper. Her father's company shares dropped before noon. Reporters crowded outside their house, flashing cameras and shouting. Her brother locked himself in his office, refusing every call. Her mother stayed in her room, curtains drawn, face hidden. Nguyet watched it all from her small apartment window. There was no joy, only silence. Justice didn't feel like victory yet. It felt like an ending long overdue. The police called her to confirm the recordings. Her voice sounded steady when she said yes. They asked if she wanted to press charges. She hesitated only a moment. "I just want the truth on record," she replied. That night, rain fell again, steady and soft. Her phone vibrated. It was her mother. The message was short. "Come home, we need to talk." Nguyet stared at the screen for a long time. Then she went. The house looked smaller than she remembered. Lights were off except in the living room. Her father sat on the couch, eyes hollow. Her mother stood beside him, holding an old photo frame. Her brother wasn't there. "You destroyed us," her father said quietly. "No," she answered. "You destroyed yourselves." Her mother stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "We did it for your brother. He couldn't survive failure." Nguyet's voice was calm. "And what about me? Was I supposed to survive betrayal?" Her mother dropped the frame. It shattered on the floor. The sound echoed through the house like a final word. Her father looked at her, old and defeated. "We can fix this," he said. "Just tell them it's a mistake." Nguyet shook her head. "I lived my whole life cleaning your mistakes. Not this time." She turned to leave, but her mother caught her wrist. "Please," she whispered, "we'll lose everything." Nguyet pulled away slowly. "You already did," she said. Outside, police cars stopped by the gate. 2 officers walked past her as she stepped aside. They greeted her politely, not knowing she was his daughter. Inside, the voices rose, angry and desperate. Her father shouted something she couldn't hear. Doors slammed. Then silence again. Nguyet kept walking until she reached the end of the street. The wind carried sirens and rain together. She looked up at the sky, gray and endless. Somewhere deep inside, the weight began to lift. Her phone buzzed again, this time from an unknown number. It was a lawyer, confirming the investigation had begun. "Thank you for your cooperation," he said. Nguyet nodded, even though he couldn't see. When she hung up, she realized her hands were steady. She had no tears left. Only clarity. Behind her, the empire that once silenced her was falling brick by brick. And ahead, the road stretched open, clean and wide, waiting for her to start again. The city was quieter after the storm. News moved on to fresher scandals. But Nguyet's name stayed whispered in corners. Some called her brave. Some called her cruel. She didn't care for either. She just wanted peace. She found a small apartment near the sea. The sound of waves replaced the noise of judgment. Every morning, she walked along the shore with coffee in hand. Her mind was empty, and that emptiness felt pure. She started working as an assistant in a design studio. It wasn't much, but it was honest. No lies, no masks, no blood debts. Her coworkers knew nothing of her past. They saw her as quiet but kind. She laughed more, spoke less, and slept without guilt. At night, she wrote in a journal. Each page began with the same line. "Today I chose myself again." She sold her old jewelry and sent the money to charity. Every piece felt lighter as she let it go. One afternoon, a letter arrived from her parents. It was unsigned but familiar. Her mother's handwriting trembled on the paper. "We are sorry. We lost everything. Nguyet read it twice, then folded it neatly. She placed $1 inside an envelope and mailed it back. No note, no anger, just a quiet goodbye. Days turned into months. Her savings grew, her smile steadied. The world no longer spun around pain. She painted her walls white and filled them with sunlight. Her grandmother called often. "Are you happy now?" she asked. And Nguyet always answered, "I'm learning to be." One evening, she walked by a bakery. Through the window, a family laughed over a birthday cake. The same warmth she once dreamed of flickered inside. But it didn't hurt anymore. She smiled, whispered, "Let them have their peace," and kept walking. At work, her boss noticed her calm precision. He offered her a small promotion. She thanked him, heart steady. She no longer sought approval. Every success belonged only to her. She began volunteering on weekends, helping women in shelters. She listened to stories of silence and fear. She never mentioned her own. But her eyes told enough. One girl asked her once, "How did you forgive them?" And Nguyet smiled softly. "I forgave myself first." The girl nodded, tears shining. In that moment, Nguyet realized healing wasn't forgetting. It was remembering without breaking. That night, she wrote another note to herself. "You are free now, don't go back." She pinned it above her bed, beside the first one. The wind through the open window carried salt and promise. For the first time in years, her future felt hers alone. And as the sea whispered outside, she whispered back, "This is what love should have been all along." 3 years passed like quiet tides. And Nguyet built her own company from a single desk and borrowed laptop. She worked through nights, fueled by coffee and resolve. Failure came often, but she faced it without fear. She had already survived worse. Her designs caught attention for their honesty and strength. No luxury, no pretense, just truth shaped into beauty. Investors noticed. Contracts grew. Her name appeared in magazines that once praised her family. This time, it was hers alone. She walked into meetings wearing confidence instead of apology. People listened when she spoke. The boardroom that once ignored her now waited for her approval. One afternoon, she received an invitation. It was for a charity gala hosted at her family's old estate. She almost laughed. The same house where they once erased her name. She folded the letter and whispered, "Why not?" The night of the event, the halls glowed with chandeliers. Guests smiled, music flowed, glasses clinked. When Nguyet entered, silence rippled like a wave. Her parents were there, standing by the grand staircase. They looked older, smaller, wrapped in polite regret. Her father's eyes widened, her mother's lips trembled. And Nguyet greeted them with a calm smile. "Good evening," she said. Her voice didn't shake. People whispered her name, like a rumor turned legend. She donated a large sum to rebuild a shelter for abandoned children. Applause filled the room. Reporters took photos, calling her a woman reborn. Her father approached slowly. "We're proud of you," he said softly. And Nguyet looked at him, eyes steady. "Thank you, I learned pride from losing yours." Her mother reached out, but Nguyet didn't move closer. She had forgiven them, but forgiveness didn't mean return. The gala ended with music swelling under golden lights. As she stepped outside, the air was cool and clean. A reporter followed, asking, "What drives your success?" And Nguyet paused, thinking. "Peace," she answered. "Not revenge, just peace." She looked up at the windows of the old house. Shadows moved behind curtains, trapped in memories. She turned away, walking toward the waiting car. The road ahead glimmered under streetlights. Her assistant handed her a folder of new contracts. She smiled faintly. Work no longer chained her, it freed her. At the next intersection, she asked the driver to stop. The sea stretched beyond the hill, endless and silver. She stepped out, breathing salt and wind. For a moment, she closed her eyes. The world was wide again, and she belonged in it. She whispered to herself, I made it home. Not the house she left, but the life she built. Somewhere behind her, the past slept quietly. And ahead, the horizon waited, soft and bright. And Nguyet smiled into the night, unafraid of tomorrow. Because she was no longer the girl they silenced. She was the woman who turned pain into power and walked free. The rain returned after many quiet months. And Nguyet drove back to the old neighborhood alone. The streets looked smaller, the trees older. She stopped in front of the house she once called home. Light glowed faintly behind the curtains. Through the window, she saw her parents sitting in silence. No anger, no shouting, just two people fatting in time. She stood there, unmoving, until the rain touched her hair. Then she slipped a letter through the gate. No envelope, no name, just words written in calm ink. I have forgiven you, but I will not come back. She turned away before the door opened. The wind carried the smell of wet earth and freedom. Every step away felt lighter, easier. At the corner, she looked back one last time. The house stood still, a monument to what once was. She smiled softly and whispered, Thank you for teaching me to leave. The sky cleared above her, pale and wide. She walked toward the light, toward her own future. And for the first time, she wasn't running from pain. She was walking toward peace.